I would just like to point out that when Sam was lecturing Dean because he thought he took his laptop, Sam's like, I put up with a lot from you, and then Dean responds, what are you talking about? I'm a joy to be around. And I just thought that was such a Meredith thing to say.
I mean, it is. I do talk that way.
You so do.
My name is KJ, and you're listening to the Supernatural Opinions podcast, where some things in this world are supernatural. My pronouns are she, they, and this is the podcast where I talk to my fellow Supernatural fans about Supernatural, and we share our Supernatural opinions. Today we're recapping Season 2, Episode 15, Tall Tales, which originally aired on February 15th, 2007, and here to help me do that are my guests of the week, Meredith, her sister Audrey, and our friend Nick. So, Meredith, remind everyone who you are.
Hi, my name is Meredith, my pronouns are she and her, and I no longer have COVID.
That's good to hear. I'm very happy for you.
Yeah.
So am I, honestly.
And Audrey, remind everyone who you are, besides Meredith's sister.
Oh, but that's my only defining personality trait, even though I'm older.
And you have, like, 3 other sisters.
Two other sisters.
Just Meredith's sister.
My name is Audrey, and yeah, I think this is like my 3rd or 4th time here, so I'm happy to be back.
Yeah. And Nick, remind everyone who you are. It's been a couple weeks.
I know, right? Nicholas, go by he, him, and I'm happy to be done with school now, so.
Yeah, that's exciting. Love the spring into summer. It'll be like midsummer by the time this comes out, but it is like freshly the end of school.
I know, it's nice to just concentrate on work and just relax, so.
Yeah.
Just realized I forgot to mention it, but I'm she, her.
Oh yeah. Pronouns are always good.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Anyway, this week's episode will contain spoilers for this episode and may reference previous episodes, but will not contain spoilers for later episodes of Supernatural, and that's an important note to all my guests to keep a lid on everything.
Got it.
Everyone shut up.
Ed and KJ will come for you. This week's episode is titled Tall Tales, and that's like a, not really a reference, it's more of just like a English language thing. A tall tale is a story, not an English language, but like an English class thing. You know what I'm saying?
A tall tale is a lie, basically.
Yeah, it's a story that's filled with like unbelievable elements, but it's told as if it's factual, and that kind of sums up the theme of the episode, honestly. I think that's a great title. But this week's episode was written by John Sheehan and directed by Bradford May. I don't think we've had a John Sheehan episode in a while. His last one was, I think, Croatoan, which was like 6 episodes ago.
Yeah.
That's a thrilling episode.
That's one word for it.
Bradford May was a one-hit wonder in the Supernatural world. I'm honestly surprised, but this is one and done. He's not going to be back.
Should have got more.
I know, this episode is so good. But he has 82 directing credits on IMDb, including 3 episodes of The Twilight Zone, The Dukes of Hazzard, Hazard in Hollywood, an episode of Smallville, 17 episodes of Wildfire, as well as a bunch of other stuff, mostly TV movies. But I'm honestly shocked that he didn't come back, because like this is like such an iconic episode. I feel like, and it's like the direction especially is great.
Yeah, this is really good.
I'm glad he's getting work, though.
Yeah, definitely.
He's not struggling, so.
Yeah, he definitely didn't need Supernatural. I'm just surprised that they didn't like arrange it so he could be back. On to the recap itself, I think, because
let's do it.
we start the episode in a pretty expected Supernatural fashion. A professor stops on his way into the building, a campus building at night, to ask a girl hanging outside of the building why she's here. No one's having office hours this late at night, and she immediately lays on the flattery, but she's not one of his students. She is here to make a move. And this actress was in a single episode of Once Upon a Time, and I immediately was like, she looks really familiar. She played a young Ruth, who is Prince Charming's mom, in one episode. And
your Once Upon a Time senses were tingling.
Yeah. I also think she looks just generally familiar. She kind of looks like Carla Gallo, who plays Daisy Wick in Bones. They have kind of similar cheekbones and facial structure.
This episode.
Yeah, I think, she's only here for a couple minutes, but I was just like, wow, she looks very familiar. And I hate this professor, dude. I didn't even bother to learn his name.
Right? I was so disappointed at him. Like, you You had every opportunity not to be a pervert.
Right?
Did they even say what his name was, or?
I feel like they did later, but maybe they didn't in this first scene. Maybe it was just Professor. But
he's the victim, so they have to learn his name. Spoilers.
I just hate him. He's saying the words that he's supposed to say. Like, no, I respect you too much to do this, but then he's doing the opposite thing with his body. It's like when you're like trying to lie and you say no, but you nod yes.
Yeah.
I've watched too many true crime documentaries.
It's like, we're being recorded right now kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like, it's just empty words. And so then they're kissing.
I know I'm like 25 years older than you, and I know what I'm supposed to say.
Like, I know it's not right, but
I know there's an unfair power dynamic in this relationship, and I'm gonna take advantage of that because you started it.
And I know my wife is at home putting our children to bed on her own.
so
He's married.
So I have a clean slate right here, yeah.
Later we find out that this guy's married and has children, so...
Ew.
And they start kissing, and this girl gets all flaky and, like, dead, I guess?
I hate it when that happens.
And, like, I would just like to point out, she's already wearing, like, a white dress. Like,
Yeah,
how could she be anything but a ghost?
She basically borrowed this
Yeah.
dress from Constance Welsh, like, from the pilot.
Seriously.
She borrowed this MO from her, too, honestly.
But then we're outside, where the janitor is, like, locking up the door behind him. The professor's body just, like, falls to earth behind him. It's just, like, it's like a comet falling from the sky. It's like boom,
oh, hey.
and then just, like, on pavement. It's a unsettling noise.
Right.
Different kind of faceplant.
Like, that guy's definitely dead.
Oh no.
There's no-
Yep, he definitely ate it.
He will be missed.
And then it's a week later, and the boys are in a motel room, and everything's like moss green in this motel room, and I don't like it. The couch and the walls are this like disgusting green, and you know that they're like that green so that if anything is growing on the walls, no one can tell.
That's actually probably true.
If you can't see it, it's fine, yeah?
Sam is just generally annoyed. He's annoyed because Dean is having some very serious chicken wings in Sam's bed, and Sam is also laptopless, and Dean is blasting music. Sam is rightfully annoyed here. Like, Dean is being an annoying older brother to the absolute max. As an older sibling, I can confirm Sam is not wrong. But
You can have your chicken wings in your own bed, Dean.
yeah.
I loved what he said here. Like, do you mind not eating those on my bed? No, I don't mind. Thanks for
Siblings.
respecting me.
Yeah, but Dean is doing it in retaliation for Sam damaging his car, which is, as an older sibling, I totally also understand.
I wouldn't know because I don't have any siblings, so.
What do you think, Audrey? We have the same age gap as Sam and Dean.
Oh yeah, I guess we do. Yeah, I would totally do something like that. Well, maybe
You
not
son of
eating
a...
chicken. Maybe not eating chicken in your bed, but like
Doing things you know annoy Meredith because you're mad at her.
There would be revenge involved.
I'm not sure I want to divulge because I don't want to give you ammunition.
My brother does not listen to this podcast, so I feel very safe in saying this is exactly how things have gone in the past and probably how things would continue to go in the future if we still live together.
Well, I'm just glad that I didn't have any siblings to worry about, but.
Having a sibling is great, but sometimes there's just like the siblings have a unique ability to annoy.
Yeah, you can annoy them just by existing some days.
Oh yeah.
Luckily, Bobby is here to parent them because they need parenting.
Oh god.
Yes, they do.
These little children.
I freaking love Bobby, and I need more of him.
And I'm really excited because this is only the second time we've seen Bobby not at his own house.
And I feel like when you have siblings, sometimes you need like that father because the siblings argue so much.
Oh yeah, you never want your parents to step in. Like as soon as your mom and dad get involved, like the fighting stops because you both know you've messed up.
Especially when they call you by your middle name, so.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna pop my drink really quickly because I'm thirsty. That was not the most satisfying one. Apologies.
Starting on a bad note, guys.
It still tastes excellent.
Oh, good.
Yes.
They didn't tell Bobby what they needed help with. They're just like, we need help. Please come and help us. Because they're like, they didn't think that Bobby would believe them. And Bobby's instantly like, red flag. We all hunt monsters for a living. What have we gotten ourselves into this week?
Spill it.
When have I ever not believed you about literally anything?
This week on Bobby's Recurring Hell.
Yeah, Bobby's like, I have been hunting monsters since before you were literally born. Bobby tells them to start at the beginning, which is the professor's death, and the campus building that's allegedly haunted, and then we get into the thing that actually makes this episode great, which is that this episode then starts to be told in two distinct points of view as the boys tell Bobby what happened.
So there was an episode of The X-Files that was actually done in a similar way. It had more than two perspectives, but it was hilarious, and I love it when writers do this.
There's a really great episode of Grey's Anatomy. It's not funny like this one, but there's a really great episode of Grey's Anatomy that's told this way, where a patient has died, and that's really all we know at the start, and then everyone's going back and telling their story, so then we figure out who did not properly care for this patient.
Damn.
By the end. Yeah, everyone else is like sitting in the hall in between, so we're getting flashes of them like fighting, but like all we know is that a patient is dead who shouldn't be.
Yeah, I like it when the story kind of slowly unfolds.
Yeah.
And it's always just so funny to see, like, you know, a show that's like held by two characters and you get to see them from each other's perspectives for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we get a really good view on how the boys see each other in this episode.
It's a different perspective, which is fun.
I like how many shots Dean was doing, though, in Sam's perspective.
It was a lot.
All of them.
You can very clearly tell, like, from how they're telling the story that they're mad at each other. This show always has some, like, limited, unreliable narrator elements that we're gonna see as the show goes on. As we get more of, especially these episodes that break the format of it, we start to see that what we're seeing as an audience isn't perhaps 100% what Sam and Dean are actually doing. This episode is, like, such a, like, interesting, like, limited third-person narration style. It's very interesting. They're at a bar, and they're interviewing some of the professor's students, and I totally forgot that one of the reasons I was so repulsed by the professor isn't just that he's sleazy. It's that his book that she was looking at, that he's like apparently so famous for, and his area of teaching, he teaches morality and ethics.
Right?
Oh my god.
I mean, that was pretty ethic, wasn't it?
Not very moral.
So not only is he just like hitting on students and like making out with students, he's like a tenured, hypocritical, sleazy white middle-aged college professor. Like,
Pretty much.
I can't think of like a demographic I would hate more. Like, nothing against professors in particular, but just like someone who like has a job that like it's impossible to get fired from, no matter how badly you do at it. White, comfortably making money, like middle-aged college professor who's abusing his power. Like,
Like,
Also, like, being male, middle-aged, white, you are dripping with privilege already.
yeah.
That too.
And then
Yep.
Anyway, there's a rumor that the building is haunted by a former student who was romantically slighted by yet another sleazy college professor. I cannot stress enough how it is actually never okay to date your students. Even
Never.
in college where your students are adults, there's a power dynamic there that makes that relationship
Right.
predatory, no exceptions. Be mad all you want. That's my stance on it.
Agreed.
Just because someone's legal doesn't mean you should go for it.
I just recently rewatched Pretty Little Liars, which I initially watched when I was in high school. And watching it as an adult now, I am shocked that I was perfectly, totally fine with Arya dating her English teacher at the age of 16. Her English teacher was in
Ew.
his early 20s.
Ooh.
And I was so mad that, like, everyone else in her life had an issue with it. And, like, looking back, that's horrible. And that's a show that's marketed to teens. Like, that's not okay.
It's like,
No.
yeah, have a totally predatory,
That's a full-on
unbalanced
crime.
relationship. Yeah, exactly.
They went on to get married at the end of this show. Like, legitimately, it was like, you can date your English teacher and be fine.
No, you
No,
can't.
not quite.
Like, does she
Everyone
have
listening to this.
parents or someone looking out for her?
Her parents
Like,
were pretty mad when they found out, and they did ban her from seeing him, and they did threaten to call the police on him.
oh, but
Yes, thank you. Someone's rational.
They had, like, irrational behavior, and then her mom went to Europe with her new boyfriend, and her dad was like, I'll pick up the slack at home, and then her dad proceeded not to be around for, like, a whole season. And she
That's
was just
fun.
looking after her little brother, and she started hooking up with her English teacher again. He was not her English teacher anymore. He did quit his job.
But he was still an adult.
I'm going to cut all of this.
Just know all our thoughts on inappropriate student-teacher relationships.
Yeah.
We do not condone it.
It's just not good.
Stay safe, kids.
disclaimer, this is disgusting.
do not do it, yeah?
I don't care if you're 40 and so is your professor. It's still your professor.
Yeah.
It is an unbalanced relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
it's just not okay.
Just wait until you get the degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Then go back, see if they're still interested.
Until then, find a student or go to a bar.
Yeah, back to the bar. Sam is interviewing this girl and this dude named Curtis, who's like telling Sam all about how the building's allegedly haunted.